Alright, these are the ingredients of the salsa that our family always makes, and this is how we prepare it right here. We typed that out this evening to help our friends that want to make salsa. I guess you can pause your device that you're watching this on. I don't know how you would do that. But anyway, I'm going to show you the actual ingredients here. This is a yellow onion. This is a bowl of fresh garlic that my wife buys at Sam's Club, already peeled in a big bag. And we use so much garlic that she decided she would just put it in a blender and then add canola oil, a little bit of canola oil, and blend it up and freeze it. So we always have fresh garlic. We just take, as you can see, we just take little spoonsful out. And this is a serrano pepper that's been sitting in my kitchen for a few days. It used to be green. I'm going to use half of that. This is the cilantro. I'm going to cut it off right about here and use this portion of the cilantro, most of the top. 4 large tomatoes. These are very large tomatoes. Look how big that is. That's a nice big fat tomato. Black pepper and Lowry's seasoned salt we're going to use. I'm using this Oster large 5-cup blender, and my cutting board, my knife, and my fork. That's all you need. We use a large bowl and this large pot. This is a large pot that we can fit the 4 tomatoes, or 3, probably 3 is going to be enough, I think. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take off a portion of this. Like I said in the earlier part, I want to cut most of the top of the cilantro, and I keep it pretty simple. I take a large handful of cilantro, and you could throw that in the blender first. And then I'm going to do the tomatoes on top of that. But this goes in the trash, or you keep it for your wife sometimes. I just put everything in a bag and get rid of it. Not important. This is the garlic. I'm going to take a good chunk of this garlic that I said my wife freezes. I suppose that's a teaspoonful or so. That's about good enough. Some people like more garlic. Yeah, I think we like more garlic. So we're going to add a little bit more. And I'm going to put this away. What I'm going to do here is add my pepper while we're still boiling the tomatoes. I'll have all this ready, and I've got this much pepper, maybe a little more. I like the pepper, the black pepper. And there it is. And I don't measure this stuff other than that. And the salt, you don't have to put the seasoned salt. We didn't do this for many years, and we started doing seasoned salt in it, and we really liked the flavor that complemented the salsa. But I don't put a whole bunch, you know. But my mother, she doesn't. Whenever we share it with my mother, she has a salt problem, and she doesn't want to eat this salt, so I probably cut that in half, which she would rather prefer that I just don't put any at all, and you don't have to. So that's that part. And then what I do while this is boiling is I take this. Remember, I'm not a chef. I'm not a cook. I'm a tree guy. I'm just doing this for our friends we met at HEB the other day. I promised them I'd put this on the internet. I thought it'd be fun to share this salsa idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this onion, and I'm going to take the peelings and stuff off and slice it up long way. My wife says she doesn't like so much onion. I'm the onion eater. So I'll probably set this aside and probably use this much onion. I'll just cut it up as small as I can get it and try not to hurt myself. This is probably the most dangerous part of the job, chopping this thing. And I'm going to not put this in the blender. I'm going to put this in the final bowl where I'm going to be pouring the salsa after I blend the salsa, that empty bowl over there. But that's what we do. We do not blend this, because I used to blend it. I didn't know any better. I used to blend it, and when you do, you end up with a blender full of what I like to describe as onion juice. It really becomes nasty instead of having a separated flavor when you bite into it of little flakes of onion, little chunks of onion. You have onion juice salsa, and it's nasty. So don't do that. And I use sweet onion. Sometimes we bought that what is called a yellow onion. That doesn't work as well. But this, you can see how much I got here. I don't know, what is that, a cup full of onion? That's quite a bit of onion. My wife would probably wish that I would cut that in half. So what she does is she asks me to throw the onions in a separate bowl, and she adds her onions separately in her big old bowl of salsa. Now look over here in the pot. You can see that these are starting to split. The skin is starting to split. I'm going to let them cook for a little longer, because this is where you get the warmth of your salsa. When you finish, these hot tomatoes are what makes your salsa good and warm when you blend it up and serve it at first before you refrigerate any of it. That initial bite of salsa is going to be warm, and it's really, really nice. And believe me, a lot of people love this salsa. But there's the onion. I think I made too much onion. Huh?
I think that's enough. Yeah.
That's enough. So that's it for the onion. Now all we have to do, now we have this salt, and we have salt and pepper, and we have the cilantro and garlic ready in the blender. We're waiting on the tomatoes and pepper to go in the blender. I'll blend that up, and as soon as that's done, I'll dump the onions in, and I'll show you all this in just a minute. Keep it so that you can understand easier how to do this. Some people don't ever cook at all, and that would be like myself. I don't do cooking. My wife does all the cooking. This is the only thing I ever cook. But that's what we're going to do. In just a minute, I'll show you how I'll get these out. And I say these probably cook for about 8 minutes or something like that, just to get it good and warm inside. When you guess that the tomatoes, you don't want them to become mushy, but cooked tomatoes are really, really good for you. They're really antioxidant, I believe, a good antioxidant. And then you can see all the ingredients are very healthy ingredients, except for the salt and the chips, because you get chips with salt and you get the fried, whatever. I would choose a healthy chip to eat it with. But now you can see, look, take a look inside here, and you can see that these tomatoes are really splitting up good. I would say that those can be turned off. You don't want to go too much further than that. And I'll show you in just a second what the next step is. Okay, now you can see this is steaming hot. The tomatoes ready, and I'll just peel back the skin a little bit and I'm going to get rid of all the skin. I don't know if you could probably throw that in the blender. It's just been a traditional thing that we don't do it that sloppy. We try to keep it clean and neat. I'm going to cut this to drop these big pieces in the blender. And all I'm getting rid of is the skin and then that big yellow knot thing that they have in there. I don't know who put that in there. But that's how we do the tomatoes, and I'm going to add all 3 of the tomatoes in there. But while I'm doing that, somewhere in the middle, I'm going to stick probably half of this. So you can see what size that is. That's a serrano pepper. I used to use jalapeno peppers, but you can never tell if one's going to be hot and the next one's sweet. Serranos are pretty consistent. They're always hot. Half of one, to me and to my family, we all prefer that it be about mild temp heat-wise as far as spicy. And we'll go on. I'm going to go on and do the other tomatoes the same way. I'm going to cut them and drop them in there, and then we'll be ready to blend it and then pour it and eat it. But it'll be ready in just a minute. See, they're starting to get soft, these tomatoes are, so I just let them sit in the hot water while I'm preparing it. Josh, were you excited?
Yeah.
All right. My sister has made this for years, and she has changed her ingredients a little at a time over the years, and I made some recently, and she said, "Wow, how did you make yours? That's so different than mine." And I said, "Well, I fell back on what I thought was the original ingredients, and she has modified her ingredients over the years, and hers is quite a bit different now. It's great because we have her salsa and we have our salsa, and we switch out. You know, sometimes she makes her salsa and sometimes we make ours. It's a lot of fun. We always have salsa whenever the family gets together, and it's just a, I don't know if people do that all over the United States or not, but that's all we ever do. I guess because we live in the south border, we have a Mexican influence, and Mexicans don't eat this, I don't think. The Tex-Mex Mexicans do, I'm sure. And this is why you hear of a lot of people in Texas or in Houston area, South Texas, you'll hear a lot of them gaining a lot of weight and going to Mexican food restaurants, and this is one of the reasons they go, is because we love margaritas and we love salsa. So if you can avoid all of the bad things and do it at home, you're much better off. Maybe you can eat this as a snack and lose some weight. Look at that, it filled it up nicely. Perfect. If I would have done one more tomato like I brought home just in case, I would have made too much. It would have been wasted. So that's it. I'm going to clean this off, and I'm going to blend this in just a second, and I'll show you how it turns. Okay, I got everything in the blender now. This is one of those Osterizer blenders. It's a fantastic blender in case you don't have one. I think I bought it at Target years ago, and it's, man, we blend stuff every day. My wife does. She cooks a lot. This is my onions waiting for this. You see it's steaming, it's ready, it's hot. I'm going to hit this blender, and you'll see how long I blend it. I'm watching the ingredients inside, and the reason I put this cilantro on the bottom, if I put it on the top, everything at the bottom would get blended, and the cilantro would be stuck at the top. So I usually throw that to the bottom and cause it to blend a little better. And I hope I didn't forget any ingredients. We actually, this is a silly thing I'm going to tell you, we actually keep all of this vegetables, and we dump it outside in the woods because we have a lot of animals nearby, and wild animals that come eat, and we enjoy watching those wild animals, including a box turtle that lives out in the wild, and we heard that they'll recognize you for feeding them, and sure enough, when we go out to feed or to dump this in the woods, we see that turtle come out. So I guess he is like a little puppy. He's looking for some food, and that's what they survive. They count on us to dump this stuff out in the woods. We don't dump nasty food. We just do the vegetables and fruit scraps. But don't worry about that. This is what we're going to do. We want to do this quickly so that we can eat this hot. Ready, Joshua?
Yeah.
I'll make some noise. Oopsie daisy. Where's my fork? I have to use a knife or a fork to mix that sometimes because it's compacted. And it doesn't want to mix. Look at that. I didn't put probably enough tomato. And I'm going to let a little air come out of it. Looks good. Actually, that's probably enough right there.